Hey, my artsy peeps. So this week we're going to do a winter night scene using alcohol ink with masking fluid. And I'm going to throw in a little bit of powdered pigment to get a little bit of iridescent shine in here. So stick around. We will be giving you all the details. I'm in the middle of a nor'easter here. So what better thing to do than paint? Welcome to my YouTube channel where I have new videos every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you click that subscribe button and click the little bell and you'll never miss one. So check out this gorgeous painting done by Amy Lynn. This is from our Moonscape class that we have on Udemy as well as Skillshare. She did a super job. Look at those gorgeous colors in there. So if you have a chance, head over to her Instagram page and let her know you came over here from my YouTube channel and check out some of her work. She has done a couple of these and she is doing a wonderful job. So if you're a student on mine on Skillshare or Udemy, please make sure that you tag me under Kellie Chasse _fine art, and all information is usually in the class, but I love to feature you on my Tuesday tag. So this week we're going to try a little bit of masking fluid. I'm using some washi tape here around the edges. This is just a really small piece of Yupo paper. I got to clean out my lid here. You can see that stuff sticks, it dries everywhere. So anyway, I have the washi tape around this little 3x5 sheet of Yupo paper, and we're going to do a quick little demo for you today using alcohol inks, and we're going to try to see how well this is going to work with the Yupo paper and the masking fluid. And I'll tell you right now, this works like a charm. So I'm going to sketch it in lightly here, just doing a couple little trees. Got my little snow lines, my little mountain. We are having some crazy weather here, actually all winter. The longest winter, I think, it feels like the longest winter ever. It started snowing in Maine here in October and it hasn't stopped. And I think we've got the first day of spring coming up, March 20th. So I am so ready for this to be gone. And we got another 12 something inches last night. And it's still going out there right now with a nor'easter. All right, so I have this all sketched up. I have to pay attention here to what I'm doing. I'm staring at the snow here. I'm going to put in a little bit of the masking fluid. Now you can see that the masking fluid I use is the Winsor Newton. I love this stuff. It works really well. This one has just a slight tint to it so you can really see what you're doing with it on the white paper. So I love that. If you have used masking fluid before, you may know this trick, but if not, I have a little link with another class that I did or another short little demo here on YouTube that will talk a little bit more about how to keep your brushes clean using masking fluid. So I have a cheap brush here and now I'm going to fill that in, and now I'm just splattering some snow out here, and this is going to be a night sky this time. So we're going to go something a little bit darker. So I want to have a little bit of snow in there, some little bit of white showing. So and I should put a ton of it on here because we're being snowbound right now. So feel free to add as much as you want or as little as you want. Maybe you have flowers coming up. I've seen some of you guys post some flowers. Let me know down below in the comments if you have flowers already coming out where you live. And let me know where you're from because I am totally jealous. I don't think I'm going to see a flower for a really long time, but I could be surprised. So we have this all out now, all painted, and I'm going to let this dry really quick, about 15 minutes or so. It should be good to go, and we're going to start our painting. All right, so I don't have the patience to let this dry. I don't know what I was thinking. I have my blow dryer. It's almost dry. It's a little tacky, but I'm going to hit it with a blow dryer and move this along. I think that's good. You may have seen me take my finger, just touch it very lightly and just to make sure that it's not damp anymore. So it's dry, and now we're going to start with a little bit of that Pinata alcohol ink. We're going to use purple. I think it's called Passion Purple. So I'm putting my gloves on And opening the top here. I've learned not to open these tops, by the way, over your painting, because you always get little bits of pigment that have dried around your cap, and they always end up in your painting. So really be careful of that. I try to catch myself, but sometimes I'm just in the moment and I miss it. So I'm going to start with a little bit of blending solution for this one because I want to make this background really move nicely. I'm going to start with a little bit of that blue and moving this around. Don't have to worry about getting it anywhere on the bottom because I've got that all masked out. And then a few little drops of the purple, and then I'm going to tip and tilt. And we're going to get a really beautiful looking background. Almost like a Northern Lights type of look. And if you've taken the turtle class, we did something very similar to this for the underwater. If you've taken that, you'll notice it's a little familiar. And then I'm going to just tip, and a lot of that is blending solutions. If you have extra pieces of Yupo paper, it's always great to put it down underneath, and you can reactivate that, use it for pendant, something like that. It works out really well. I did not put a piece down, so I'm going just to wipe that off with a paper towel. Seems like a waste, doesn't it? So I have a foam board that I have this taped on as well, which makes it really easy to tilt and to move the painting. So you'll notice in most of mine, I'm always using a piece of foam board so that I can do that with my paintings really easy. And I'm just taking my brush and going over just the little edges here, making sure that that did touch everywhere. And I might have a few little spots in here that I did not put the masking fluid in. It makes a great little area for some shadows from your trees. You can see the masking fluid, all those little dots underneath there. That is hopefully going to be bright white when we remove the masking fluid. So those are not little pieces of dust for once that are floating around when you're using alcohol ink. I'm just going to tilt it again, making sure I've got all of that off there. We have a little bit of movement still. And it looks like it's beginning to dry a little bit. Once again, I like to speed things up, so I'm going to hit it with a blow dryer again. We want to make sure this is nice and dry before we do our trees. Okay, I think that will do it. You can see that there's not as much of a sheen. It's more dull now. So we should be ready to add our next step. So I have my little tray here. I'm going to squirt a little bit of the green in here. This is the alcohol ink. Now in the powdered pigment here, you can see that sheen in there. It's beautiful. So I'm trying to mimic, Ranger has these new inks out. They're called Pearl, and they have a little shimmer in them. So I've been doing this for a long time, taking the little powdered pigment and mixing it directly into my alcohol ink, and I try to match it up as best as I can because I don't want to change the color, because they had the original pearl ink where you could, but it was more white, so it would always change the colors up a little bit, where this really doesn't change if you can get them to match. And the Jacquard powdered pigments come in many different colors, so it's been working for me. I've not yet tried the pearls, so if anybody from Ranger Inks is listening, feel free to send me some. I would love to try them out. So if you've actually tried both of these ways, leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the pearls, and if you've tried it with the Jacquard powdered pigments, let us know, what you think of the difference. From what I'm seeing online, they look pretty similar. So yeah, give me your opinion on that. I'd love to hear it. So I've mixed those in there quite well, and I'm just going to now paint in our little trees. Now it's hard to tell. You can't really see the shimmer that this has in here, but it does have a nice shimmer. You can see it more where the ink is wet to the left-hand side here, but it's just the way that the angle of the light is. If you bring this back and forth, you can really see that iridescent. I'm going to tap in just a few quick little trees. Now, I've not taken the masking fluid off yet because I want to let it look like there's some, let it look. I cannot talk today. Okay, I cannot talk any day. It's a good thing we have edits usually, but with my YouTube videos, I just let them roll. If you're taking my classes, I try to fix myself. And I don't even remember what I was saying. Oh, I was going to leave the masking fluid in there because I want it to look like there's snow on top. So I'm going to go down just a little bit further with that. You're not going to be able to see it because I have the masking fluid, but I want to show you what happens when you have the masking fluid on there. So we can always add that, go a little bit longer with those trees if we want to after. So I'm going to, again, take the blow dryer. I'm not going to make you listen to it this time. I've got it turned down so you can't hear it. And we'll dry those. I wish you could see the sparkle that has in here. And it feels like it's dry. I'm not getting anything off on my finger. Now I'm going to remove the masking fluid. I'm going to just take my glove off and use my finger a little bit easier. Everything's dry now. Look at that. It worked like a charm. So really key that that's completely dry when you take off that masking fluid, because if you don't, you're going to smudge it and you're going to get some of those colors blended into those white areas. So make sure that's really dry before you do this. I thought I had a little bit more down there than what I do. I thought there was more dots in there. We might add a few more to that. And I'm just going to peel off that masking fluid. See where I had used that green? It's like it's not even there. It just came right off. And I'm just going to wipe that aside. I don't want that to get back in here. And let's go ahead and bring that down just a little bit more so it looks like it's a little bit closer to us. So it's not over the mountain. It's more in front of the snow mountain. There we go. So I guess I did a really good job on the bottom there and not much for shadows. So let's go ahead and throw a few little shadows in here using the blue. Try not to go overboard. Just a little. And I have a little bit of that green. You almost can see some of that iridescent is still showing up from my brush. I just gave it a really quick clean and some of that sparkle is still in there, which looks kind of pretty. I like it. So I'm not trying to cover up too much of that white. But if you do and you find that you want to get a little bit more snow in there, and maybe tap in a little bit extra over your green trees, the Doc Martin white works really well for that, especially on Yupo paper. And it really keeps it bright white if your inks are dry. So we're going to just tap in a little bit more here so it looks like the snow's laying on the branches here. Which out my door it is right now. The wind's starting to pick up, so some of that snow is blowing off. So that works really, really, really well. If you want to do a little pile of snow down here, let's say you get a little bit too much and you want to thicken this up a little bit or hide some of that blue, maybe if you got too much in there, this is a really easy way to do that as well. Now it does give you a little bit of texture because this is a little bit thicker. It's more of a heavier paint. So keep that in mind. It's also very good if you get some leaks underneath your tape and you want to freshen those up and make them bright white. That works for that as well. So it gives it a nice illusion of like a real soft gray down here now. Once again, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate you hanging out with me with my channel. Make sure to give it a like and a share if you enjoyed this type of tutorial. I'm going to cut this up. You can see where I had a lot of leakage underneath here, but I'm not worried about it because I'm going to throw this little mat on the top of it. Also wanted to mention, don't forget about March's class. It's the new resin and alcohol ink on top of a board. That's coming up really soon. I'm just finishing that up, so make sure to check that out. Sign up for my newsletter and you'll be the first to know. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday. Happy creating!